I'm very happy to be here. So I'll give you a little introduction. I encountered Damon, or he reached out to me in 1978, and I was meeting with some other friends and I was playing with Ouija board with one of my friends, and a guide came through for her named Roka. Now, I'll say first, before this happened, we had, I guess you'd call a house spirit that was a guide, a person that came through named Bill Amos weeks before. And anybody who walked in the house could sit down with anybody else and Bill Amos would talk to them. But he was just kind of a funny, he'd been a photographer at the turn of the century, and he lived in the neighborhood. I lived in the West Village of New York at the time. And he was just, he was not a spiritually oriented necessarily being. He was just like a friendly jokester kind of spirit, and everybody kind of loved him because it was fun. The whole point is that it was fun. And so one day I'm sitting down with another friend of mine, and she has a guide come through for her named Rocco. And I said, wow, you have one, I want one too. And then the board spelled out, my name is Damon. And I said, well, who are you? And he said, a man of the future. Okay, I'm not sure what that meant. But later on, I had an automatic writing from him that said, enough love to go around, is kind of Damon's motto, if you want to say. And from that time on, I could communicate with him through automatic writing or through a Ouija board. And then a few years down the road, I was able to do the vocal channels, because I left New York and then people would call me, and I had to have a way to do the Damon thing. So I learned how to be a vocal chant. Just I allowed that to happen. Okay, I'm going to turn the light off, and then I would like to do a little meditation. To begin, get yourself in a comfortable position. And take a few slow, deep breaths. Inhale. Imagine that you're inhaling light and love and beautiful, clean, sparkling air. And as you exhale, release any tension, any tightness in your body, and just let it go. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. Feel that energy go all the way down to the tips of your toes, all the way to the edge of your fingertips. And then exhale, releasing anything that might be holding you back in any way. We'll do 1 more breath. Gently inhale. And exhale. Relaxing your body down so that you're going deeper and deeper into your own inner knowing, into that place where you can tap in to your own great love. And now we'll see what Damon has to say to us today. welcome. And we welcome you, and we also welcome all of the beings who arrived with you, for you are surrounded by loving beings. And this is true for you all the time. And if you allow yourself to freely express whatever emotion you have going on, and not judging it, and just letting your emotions clear, because we suggest that emotional clearing is a good way to communicate with your guidance. Just releasing anything that has you feeling tense or tight, and being aware of those things that bring you joy at the same time. And letting yourself begin to allow those emotions to freely flow through you. You will find that there is always love in the mix, no matter where you begin. And sometimes in the world, when it appears to be times of turmoil and lots of emotional energy being stirred up and fear being stirred up, it's a good time for cleansing the emotional body. Not denying or stuffing down, but allowing yourself to find a way to express all manner of emotions. And you can do it in a safe way by yourself. And you can allow yourself to clear your emotional body the same way that you would go take a shower on a hot day and clean your physical body. And it's a good way to check in with yourself in the morning. What am I feeling today? And sometimes when we feel things, it's like we're coming up against a wall. It's like, I can't seem to deal with this. I feel like I'm running into a wall. Let that be all right. Let that be okay. Because once you recognize what is going on, the wall disintegrates. And ultimately, then, you are left in a space of unconditional love. And your frequency is raised, and we will speak about your frequency. Because we are in a time now when it is imperative to raise our frequencies, at least for those of us who have come as agents of change. Now you say, well, I don't know if I'm an agent of change. Well, you don't have to go out and save the world and to be an agent of change. You're an agent of change with your energy, and each and every one of you in this space right now are agents of change. And you are powerful agents of change. But the first person that you need to change is you. Very often we have emotions because we have issues with ourselves. Issues of self-esteem. Issues of, oh, I made a terrible mistake. How can I ever rectify it? You can rectify it by letting it go and learning from that mistake, because you are here in a physical body to make mistakes, essentially, because that is one speedy way to learn a lesson. And if you can forgive yourself, and allow each quote unquote mistake to take you to a higher frequency, as you find a way to release it. It's okay to be angry with yourself sometimes. It's normal. It's quite normal to feel as though you run into a wall and aren't making progress. Those are normal things that happen to everyone. And if you begin to affirm, and your idea of affirmations 3 times a day is beautiful, but we say it may bring up things. You may start having self-realizations that you don't particularly like, but at the same time, it's a gift. Because as those things come up, they're things that have been inside of you. And as you clean them out, and you start with a clean slate every day, you find that your life moves along much more smoothly. And you start to find surprises. Like the shell of a bird in your swimming pool that will bring a smile to your face. And begin to love yourself more. Tell Diane this constantly. Love yourself first. But to really love yourself, you may need to do some house cleaning. You may need to release. You know the emotions that you have. Sometimes if you feel, I think I have tears, but the tears won't come out, watch a sad movie. Allow yourself to identify with the person in the movie who's going through something very sad. And just let those tears flow. Tears are the water that wash the soul. And sometimes in our quest to be better, we forget to honor ourselves for being human, for having a human experience. It takes a great deal of courage to come to this frequency of reality. Because when you're in a higher frequency, you're engaged with a greater love. There is no fear. There is no rage. There is no what you consider negative emotion. And so you come here because you want to learn. And you want to grow. And you want to be stronger. It's rather like you're playing a game. Let's say chess. You're playing chess. You play with the same partner and you beat that partner every time. No matter what happens, you beat them in very few moves. So in order to make the game interesting, you need to change partners. You need to have someone who will challenge you so that you can expand your chess playing expertise or whatever game you're playing. And that is how you grow as a chess player, and that is how you grow as a human being. We can almost say that the people who have the greatest challenges are the ones who grow the most, but that isn't an overall true statement, because there are some people who come as guides who have completed an Earth cycle and choose to come back, especially now when we have a great deal of turmoil on the planet, and the planet herself is in a certain amount of turmoil as well. And there are people who incarnate to help, not here because they need to be here to grow necessarily, although even though they may have completed their reincarnational cycle and they have done their growing, there's always something new to learn. And we've used the analogy of the wall before, and we'll use it again because we feel it's appropriate. And so if you're going up against a wall that's buried deeply in the ground, and it's a tall wall, taller than you are, and it's cement, some other very hard substance, and you're pushing and you're pushing, and the wall is going nowhere. It's not moving. But if you really want to overcome the wall, besides climbing over it, but it seems that it keeps getting higher and higher each time you climb, but you start to excavate. And when we use the analogy of the wall and we talk about excavating, well, yes, we're talking about a wall, because if you excavate long enough and deeply enough, the wall will be unstable and will collapse on its own. And when we say excavate, we mean going deep within yourself and excavating those parts of yourself where you might hold on to anger or fear or just this need to please. So as you begin to excavate within yourself, then those parts of you that are holding on to negativity that maybe you didn't even see will begin to collapse. And the world around you will begin to change. Because that's why you're here. You're here as agents of change within yourself and for others as well. And so many sensitive people, you may count yourselves among those, become magnets for not only your own grief or pain, but for that of other people. So a part of excavating is not only excavating your own pain, anger, frustration, but it's also what you take on from other people. And beginning to learn to realize when other people are affecting you and say no. Okay, if there's something you can do to actually physically help someone, we're not saying don't be kind. But sometimes in being kind, you take on their emotions. And what happens is they just get more. So you're not really removing the emotions from them. You might be removing them temporarily, but if they have to deal with a situation or an emotion, it's going to reappear in another form. What you can do is you can certainly be of service and be of help, and we recommend that. In order to build community, people need to be willing to be of service in any ways they can. However, it doesn't mean you have to take on the burdens of others. And if you search back in your childhood, you might find that, yes, there were moments when in your innocence you took on the burden of perhaps a parent or a sibling or a friend, or, because you wanted to help. And you can help. But you can't take away someone else's lesson. You may be able to help them through a situation, but sometimes then you feel their pain so much. It's a way for you to relieve your own pain. Oh, let me go help them because I can't stand watching this. This is just too much. Oh. But in reality, you cannot remove their lesson or their pain. They have to go through it and find their own way out the other side and find their way to love. Because that is why you're here, is to find your way back to love, despite the obstacles that you encounter. And then when you are able to go through something and come out the other side, and having the gratitude for having gone through it and what it has taught you. And we're working on that with our channel, with all of her crazy leg issues. And the sooner she finds the grace in the situation and truly has gratitude, she will find her healing accelerates. And know that you always have guidance. You are not alone. Begin before you fall asleep at night and just ask your guidance to come to you. It's a good time because you're going into another state of consciousness. You're going into another brainwave state, into delta state, to a more alpha delta, more receptive state of consciousness. So it's a good time to ask that your guidance communicate with you. And in the morning as well. Good time when you're waking up. If you could perceive, if you could see with your eyes how loved you are, if you could perceive that in your heart, you would not believe it. You would be overwhelmed because you are so loved, you are so cared for. So what we will say to you now is to be grateful when you have an obstacle that you have to overcome. And know that in overcoming that obstacle, you are becoming stronger. Your frequency is getting higher. And that you are always blessed with unconditional love. Feel it now. Feel it in your body. This unconditional love that is your birthright. Thank you for your very kind attention. It has been our honor and pleasure to serve you. The channeling is over, and it's time to return to waking consciousness. If you wish to fall asleep now, you can turn off the recording. Otherwise, we're going to begin to wake up as I count backwards from 5 to 1. 5. Feel your consciousness in your physical body now. Moving your consciousness down from your head, through your neck, your chest, arms, abdomen, legs, and feet. 4. Begin to gently move your body. Gently move, sway back and forth. Feel your physical body. 3. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Allow yourself to yawn and just open up and allow all that air, the breath, to come in. 2. You're feeling more awake and more alert. 1, you're feeling better than ever before and ready to have a wonderful day.